Mom, can you tell me a story tonight?
Of course, my little one. Tonight, I will tell you about a tiny dragon named Lumi. He lived in a magical forest where the trees glowed softly every night, and the flowers sparkled like stars. Lumi was not a fierce dragon like the dragons in old legends. He was small, kind, and always curious about the world around him.
Was Lumi happy in the forest?
Very happy. Every morning he greeted the rabbits, the deer, and the birds that sang among the glowing branches. He spent his days exploring hidden paths, collecting shiny stones, and listening to stories told by the oldest trees in the forest. Lumi believed his forest was the most beautiful place in the world, and he never imagined that anything could change it. But one evening, while the silver moon was rising above the mountains, Lumi noticed something strange. The forest seemed darker than usual. The flowers no longer sparkled brightly, and many animals looked worried. When he looked up at the sky, he discovered that one of the brightest stars had disappeared. The empty space where the star once shined made the night feel lonely and cold.
Where did the star go, Mom? Do you think it got lost somewhere far away?
No one knew. The owls did not know, the deer did not know. Even the ancient trees, who remembered thousands of years of history, could not answer the question. Some animals whispered that the star had fallen beyond the Crystal Mountains, while others believed a powerful shadow had stolen its light. Lumi listened carefully to every story, and the more he listened, the more determined he became to find the truth. The next morning, before the sun had fully risen, Lumi packed a small bag with food, a blue crystal lantern, and a map given to him by the oldest tree in the forest. Then he spread his wings, took a deep breath, and began the greatest adventure of his life.
Did Lumi travel alone?
Yes, but he was not afraid. The morning air was cool, and golden sunlight poured through the trees as he followed the path toward the Crystal Mountains. Along the way, he crossed sparkling rivers, walked through fields of giant blue flowers, and flew over hills covered with silver grass that danced in the wind. Everything looked beautiful, but Lumi could not stop thinking about the missing star. He felt that somewhere far away, the star was waiting for help. After many hours, Lumi reached the foot of the Crystal Mountains. Their peaks shone like glass beneath the sun. As he climbed higher, he noticed something unusual. Tiny pieces of starlight were scattered across the rocks. They glowed softly, even during the day. Lumi picked one up and placed it in his bag. The glowing fragment seemed to point toward a narrow path hidden between two cliffs.
Did he follow it?
Of course. Lumi squeezed through the narrow passage and discovered a secret valley that did not appear on his map. The valley was silent. No birds sang there. No insects buzzed. In the center stood a dark tower made of black stone. It was the only thing in the valley, and its shadow stretched across the ground like a giant hand. Lumi felt nervous, but he knew he had come too far to turn back. As he approached the tower, he heard a faint sound. It was not a roar or a growl. It sounded more like crying. The sound came from inside the tower. Lumi pushed open the heavy door and stepped into a large room filled with floating crystals. In the center of the room, trapped inside a cage of dark magic, was the missing star itself. Its light was dim, and it looked very tired.
A star can cry. Tell me more, Mom. I want to understand.
In magical worlds, many things are possible. The star told Lumi that a lonely shadow spirit had captured it. The spirit was not evil, but it had spent so many years alone that it wanted to keep the star's light for itself. Without understanding the consequences, it had taken the brightest star from the sky, leaving the forest and many other lands darker than before. Suddenly, the room grew cold. A tall shadow appeared behind Lumi. Its eyes glowed like blue fire. Lumi's heart beat fast, but instead of running away, he stood still and listened. The shadow spirit explained how lonely it had been. For hundreds of years, no one had visited its valley. No one had spoken to it. No one had even known it existed. Lumi realized something important. The spirit did not need the star. What it truly needed was a friend. So instead of fighting, Lumi sat down and talked with the lonely spirit. They talked for hours about forests, mountains, animals, dreams, and adventures. For the first time in centuries, the spirit smiled. Its dark form became softer, and the room slowly filled with warm light. At last, the spirit opened the magical cage and released the star. The star immediately rose into the sky, shining brighter than ever before. Across the world, forests glowed again, flowers sparkled once more, and animals cheered as the missing light returned. Lumi watched the star climb higher and higher until it reached its place among the heavens. When Lumi returned home, everyone celebrated his courage, but Lumi said that he had not won because he was strong. He had succeeded because he chose kindness instead of anger and understanding instead of fear. From that day on, the lonely spirit became a guardian of the valley, and Lumi often visited him. They remained friends for many years, and whenever Lumi looked up at the brightest star in the sky, it seemed to wink at him as if saying, "Thank you, my friend."
That's a beautiful story, Mom.
And now it's time to sleep, my little adventurer.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, Leo. Sweet dreams.